Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name's Dylan Love, and you are listening or watching another episode of the Engine Room Podcast. Happy Friday. I'm joined today by Mr. Jacob Koch-Gallup. Jacob is one of our market analysts, and boy, does he love NFTs. What's going on, Jacob?
Hey, Dylan, how you doing? Happy Friday.
I'm doing all right. Happy Friday to you. Let's
Yes.
go ahead and get through a little bit of news here before we run freely into the weekend here. First thing we got to talk about is this weird news about how inflation continues to go up while Bitcoin and the crypto market overall seems to be declining. And as I'm reading this news about inflation reaching almost 7% in the US here, there's something off, right? Because the popular narrative that's out there is that Bitcoin is this theoretical ultimate hedge against inflation. So if inflation is increasing while Bitcoin is decreasing, then it kind of makes me want to put my little speculative forecasting hat on and say that the price of Bitcoin is due for a major correction in the positive, assuming we all buy this narrative that Bitcoin and other cryptos are actually a good hedge against inflation. What do you make of this 7% inflation news, Jacob?
Yeah, well, first of all, on the non-crypto side, it is very worrying. It's 6.8%, the highest it's been in since 1982, so almost 40 years, when it was 6.9% year-to-year inflation. So that's a scary number. And among the contributors were food, fuel, rent, and cars. So we've seen a huge increase even in the used car market here in the United States. And what that tells me is if you're not getting a raise from your employer, then you're losing money. You're getting paid less than you were last year. And if the raise isn't higher than around 5%, 5.5%, you're also losing money, getting paid less than you were last year. And now let's talk about the Bitcoin correlation. So after this was announced, Bitcoin went up about 2% to around $50,000, but a few hours later it went below the 48,000 level. And you had mentioned that there could be a correction into the positive, but 48,000 is a technical level for Bitcoin, and we've seen it break it multiple times. So I think short term, we could see a lot more downside volatility. However, I do suspect that you are right, that we should see a correction up once Bitcoin decouples from traditional equities more and more. But as of right now, I do think we could see more further downside volatility.
Well, in this market, only time will tell. But the walls have been a little sprayed with blood lately,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens in the future here. Anyway, let's move right along. We got to talk again about Ross Ulbricht and basically this big picture quest by many in the crypto community to hashtag free Ross. The latest thing worth talking about in this arena is the Free Ross DAO. That's right, there is a DAO aimed at raising money and spending that money to get Ross Ulbricht out of jail. He's serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years for his involvement in creating the Silk Road darknet marketplace. The news here is that Ross has, of course, been selling NFTs of his art, and the DAO has been capturing that money, and the big picture goal is to use that money to get him out of prison. So we're talking about $6 million here, Jacob. Is that right? That this DAO controls almost 1,500 Ethereum.
Well, no. So
excuse me, I got it wrong. Yeah.
So
almost 3,000 Ethereum.
Exactly. The winning bid on the auction for his 10 handmade art pieces was 1446 Ethereum, almost 6 million. But Free Ross DAO raised 2,836 Ethereum from more than 1,300 members.
Yeah, and we know that Ross's mom, Mrs. Lynn Ulbricht, is pretty closely involved in getting her son out of jail. Her LinkedIn profile actually lists her as the CEO of this effort. So we're paying a lot of attention to this. Silk Road was one kind of idea. It was one application of crypto technology, and it's very interesting to see that Ross and his friends and family have found another pretty seriously interesting way to use this technology, albeit in a completely different
Yeah.
paradigm.
I mean, I think it's
Uh,
fascinating. We've seen DAOs kind of how powerful they are with the Constitution DAO, which almost won a copy of the Constitution. Now, Free Ross DAO winning the bid. And so I guess we can delve into the what the DAO, what contributors to the DAO are going to get. So they're going to get Ross tokens, ROSS,
mhm.
representing fractional shares of the NFTs. So each DAO member will actually be able to own or own a fraction of the NFTs, and the Ross holders will also be able to vote on governance proposals for the DAO. And I think DAOs, I really see them kind of being having a huge impact in the future and really becoming more prevalent pretty much on everything. Because if we love to say, a lot of people in the crypto community love to say crypto and blockchain is for the people, it's taking the power back from the big organizations. And one major way to do that is through a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. That means that people from around the world who can all be anonymous, if they have enough members, can bid and buy. They could buy real estate. They could potentially buy corporations, do a hostile takeover of a corporation, just if they have enough supporters. And it's all through a decentralized manner. So I think we're going to see kind of more and more of this narrative of DAOs.
Right. Yeah. As interesting as the Constitution DAO was, it ultimately didn't actually work. It wasn't successful in buying a copy of the Constitution.
Correct.
But boy, did it work for publicity and general awareness of this thing called a decentralized autonomous organization. So far we've seen that we can come really close with a DAO to actually buy the Constitution. So if we can use the same thing to get Ross Ulbricht out of federal prison, then it seems like a nice parting gift to be a little crass about it. Short of the Constitution, sure, we'll take getting a young, thoughtful person out of prison. Anyway, let's move on to this news about Ubisoft's new NFT video. They got in a bunch of hot water. Jacob, break this down for us, please. What's the deal with Ubisoft's NFT video?
Yeah, for sure. So Ubisoft is a French gaming giant. They announced that they're having a new NFT project called Quartz, and it's going to be first unveiled with Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint game. The NFTs are going to be incorporated into helmets or hats for the soldiers with tiny numbers or serial numbers of the NFTs on them. And this was announced, kind of the beta launch was announced this past Wednesday, so December 8th. The video got up to about 300,000 views within, I think it was about a day, and the video had a 96% dislike ratio. So people in the gaming community hated it. And I think
The tribe has
yeah,
spoken.
exactly. And after this, Ubisoft then delisted their video off YouTube. And I think one major kind of aspect of this, the hate that Ubisoft was getting, was more and more we're seeing with games like Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, etc., these microtransactions and mobile apps too. All of these microtransactions. And I think that's really been pissing off people in the gaming community. They say, I want to buy my PlayStation or Xbox game for $60. That's what I've always paid, and I'm not paying anything more for anything new in the game. And now it's you buy the game for $60 and then you pay $100 to get skins and hats and more guns, etc. So people are done with microtransactions, and they only see NFTs as another way of milking the gamers, milking the customers by adding these NFTs that you can buy.
Yeah, I play a lot of mobile games on the iOS ecosystem, and let me tell you that there is just no shortage of games that call for you to like buy little special coins inside of some in-game currency that isn't actually tied to anything.
Yeah.
As gaming is a pretty interesting and exciting use case for this stuff, because it's something that people immediately understand. Oh, you mean I killed a monster and then I have this new sword? And if I want to sell the sword to another character, I can. And then I can take that virtual currency and actually turn that into cash in my bank account. Suddenly, these silly things called games that your parents didn't really want you to play, suddenly people are using this stuff to pay their bills. So the world is changing, guys. Crypto seems to be a big part of it.
Yeah. I do want to say I kind of agree with your sentiment. Is as much as I'd love to be on the same side as the gaming community, I think I'm on the opposite side. Maybe that's because I'm in the crypto community, but I only see NFTs in video games helping the individual gamer, not hurting them. Because now instead of spending $20 of V-Bucks to buy your Fortnite skin and all you do is just have it on your character, instead you spend that $20 with maybe a Fortnite's new cryptocurrency, Fort or something, that you can exchange for actual money. You can sell it. Then you can buy that skin, which you now own, as an NFT, and you can now sell that skin if you want. And if that skin's rare, or in a year people really want that skin as on their Fortnite character, then you can sell it for $30-$40. So
Yeah.
so I just see it, it's giving the individual gamer more power, not causing more harm.
Yeah, maybe we can condense it like this. In the future, everybody, from billionaire hedge fund managers all the way down to, preteen video gamers, in the future, everyone is a speculator,
Yeah.
whether it's digital assets or barrels of oil or whatever it is. At any rate, I think it's time to put a cap in this one. You've just listened to another episode of Engine Room. We're a podcast by tokenmetrics.com. Maybe you're listening to us in audio format. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. At any case, we want to direct you to our YouTube channel, Token Metrics. We've got all kinds of videos and live streams there on the regular about how to help you make money in crypto. So from Dylan and Jacob, thanks for listening to another episode, and we'll see you next week.